Hello, Opera Omnia. Bishop here. Welcome back to the comedy of errors that is the Heartless Cage pitch Lufenia Plus with this. And it's a comedy of errors because, boy, did I mess up a whole bunch, which is why you're seeing this team right now without the beginning screen, because that was where I had to go. So as I run this thing and get ready to get started, if you wouldn't mind, if you do like this, which there's some comedy of errors, but if it's helpful, please consider leaving a like and a subscription. I appreciate it a whole lot if you did that. And please consider commenting, because I appreciate any constructive feedback to improve my commentary and my gameplay. So you see here right now, big basic damage coming from Jecht. I'm going to be setting him up going after B the whole time. Agrias is going to lock down those the smaller swarm flies. Kurasame right now for the HP up for that, and it's on Exdeath because Exdeath's going to handle the orb. Now that was a big key here with what I did, because as you can see, I only used Kurasame. I did not put my Gabranth call on that's going to be coming here, because I'm going to run out of turns here if I'm not careful. And matter of fact, right there, I forgot to put Gabranth's call on right there. As you can see, like I said, that's comedy of errors number one. Right there, I should have put Gabranth's call on there right away in order to get even more HP up with that. So reason I went last turn with the LD from Jecht, because they both had huge amounts of Brave, and I didn't think the poison would do it. And so when I got here, that's why with the free turn I used the Jecht slash recovery, because I was going to get it, but I wanted to hold on to those Jecht slashes for later, because I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to run out of skills on this. I was fully planning on it to run out of skills, but it was going to be even more so if I didn't do that. So as you can see here, I'm checking to see if that's going to come on, and then I realize all of a sudden, oh shoot, I hadn't put Gabranth all. So there's Gabranth's call. Now here's the trick with when you put all this stuff on that you got to be careful. When you paralyze or use faded Moly and confuse them, you got to make sure you have a debuff slot. So like if you bring Ferris and you fill up all these debuff slots, you're not going to have any room for the paralyze, so you can't lock these guys down. Now if you're going greens, you're going to be able to push through these heals that these guys are going to have. I'm not using a Green Jecht or a Green Exdeath. Well, obviously you can't Green Exdeath, but I'm not using a Green Jecht here, so that's going to make it real tough for me to power through the HP regen that this guy is going to do. So that's why I'm going here with Agrias to lock them down. And as you can see, I'm just letting splash damage really do the key. Now, based on what's going to happen coming up a little bit later, I will go after either A or C, depending upon if I think I'm going to be able to get, like for example, you just saw me use the Paralyze on them again, because I don't think they're going to be able to die, which is why I went after A there to try to push it back before I go again with the splash. So I get one of them, but I don't get the other, and that's why I wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to do that here. So, all right, so back it with that. So as you can see here, I'm kind of worried because it's like, man, that thing is running through Kurasame's debuff. So that's why I was checking on it right now. But that was the key. That's the whole reason why I was being aggressive with A and with B here, because I wanted to make sure I had another chance with faded Moly with this. Now, I could have used one here, or I used both of those in order to push him back, because this is when I'm going to bring the friend Jecht in here for Exdeath here in a minute. So I'm setting it up. I got plenty of room on the orb. I'm refreshing the Kurasame buff here. So we're going to get that set back up, and I'm going to bring the Jecht friend in now, get the burst effect up. It's actually a little earlier than I wanted to bring it in, but it's still viable here. I'm going to do a big run. I won't have everything for the end like I like, but it's still going to be in a good shape with this. So right now, the good part here with A and C is their first attack is going to be on them. So that's why I went ahead and hit that other LD just to refresh that buff and start doing some massive damage here on this guy. So I know I'm going to be able to work on getting them in. I get him down a little bit more. I get an extra turn. So I'm just kind of refreshing buffs, getting ready to go into the burst. So like I said, the good part there, Exdeath's debuff is still on, even though Exdeath's not on the field. So I'm going to be in good shape. All right, now that it's huge, it's like, okay, I got to be ready to go. So here we go. Friend is just going to Jecht slash his butt off. His burst effect is the big thing that I wanted here with that. So I'm getting 2 of those in. He's going to have 2 left. I'm going to take care of him during summon. As you can see, that Green Jecht is just annihilating, and that burst effect is just letting me push everything on that we can. All right, so here we go. Kate Sith for the nice little extra boost I'm going to get. I hit it with a 1 Jecht slash recovery. Here we go. LD to start. Get a free Jecht slash. So this is the rotation I've kind of found that I like here when I use Jecht. Just 3 Jecht slash. Yeah, you lose a turn during the burst, no doubt about it. Not going to say that, but I got to say the 3rd Jecht slash in here I think is a real big gain and a boost to what I'm doing here with that. So here we go, going in with the BT effect. So I'll have a couple of them there. 3.4 is actually more damage than I'd previously done. With that got to be the friend with that. All right, so I threw a Paralyze on there to see if that was going to do anything to B, because if B had done anything, I was going to let A and C attack and let them go. But since it didn't work, that's when it said, okay, I'm going to let it ride. And here we go. We're just Jecht slashing the heck out of this guy right now. That's the whole idea with what I'm looking for here at this point. So like you can see, just blazing out here trying to rip this guy down. So as you can see, from the moment I brought in the friend Jecht, which it was at about 73%, you can see I've taken half that HP down. I mean, it's just a huge amount of damage I've been able to do here in Burst and Summon. That's pretty much, to me, that's the true genius of that. Now, thankfully, Exdeath has a ton of skills back. And as you can see, I got through a set of ads without having to use any of my Brave Mollies, which was my big concern here, especially the fact this guy had 30. That's why I said I was hoping this guy I was going to be able to push through a little bit more and be able to get this guy down to like 15 or 20 during that time. But I had to bring the Jecht friend in a little early. All right, so here we go. 27%. Now the real comedy of errors begins. All right, now Almagas is real good because it's going to take care of all that Brave that those guys have. Exdeath is going to get popped right in the face. All right, and so here we go. I go Hallowed Bolt, refresh and everything, and I'm going to be able to break A and C there. Get a little bit more. So like right now, it's just a matter of I'm going to try to get 2 turns every time I can, but I know I'm starting to run low on skills, so I have to be very careful about what I'm doing. All right, so I did this just in case to get some damage, but just in case also because that debuff off the EX will keep them from using any HP damage, even though they were not going to be able to work. So that's the one thing when they're not able to work. That was one thing I did find out here from this. When they are paralyzed, which is coming up here in a second, when they're paralyzed, they don't switch to the second one. So they're going to do 1 attack, and then they're going to start refreshing. So I got real lucky there. That was the whole reason why I did that, was just to see what Paralyze would do with that. So as you can see, A is going, he's paralyzed. Usually after their first attack, they then start HP regenning B. But when I saw that A didn't do that, I was like, oh, sweet. I'm going to be able to, keep my faded Moly and use the other stuff for what I wanted here, which is why I was looking to see if Knight's Pride was going to jump me up, but I went ahead with another. I was looking to shave there with that since I had the extra turn there with that. So as you can see, I know I'm going to get a free turn out of that, so I use the HP, or the EX, excuse me. And now I'm starting to really worry because it's like, uh-oh, I'm going to be out of turns here. So that's why I went with that last LD, because I kind of forgot about it. And so I hit another Jecht slash to get another one in here, because I'm going to need them real big here, because as you can see, the burst effect is gone. And I still got 9% left with this. So I go Almagas just again to hit another good hit on this. So I decided to go with Faded Moly here, because like I said, I saw that these guys were not switching over to the regen. It's because they couldn't act. So that's why I went ahead and just used it again, and it would also give me a chance to refresh my overhead there on that one. Now, one thing you may be wondering is, why haven't I used Gabranth? And well, that's pretty good reason, because at about this point in time, I came to the realization that I had forgotten to put Gabranth back on. So there was no reason with this whatsoever, which is, like I said, big major error number 2. And here's major error number 3. As you see, I pushed C back just to try to knock that one out because I didn't want to... I was going to try to get rid of one of them and keep the faded Moly up for the next one. Now, the problem with that is that Jecht Slash was supposed to get targeted on B, and I screwed up, and I targeted C. Big mistake. That would have brought that thing down to, like, I don't know, probably 3%. At that point, I would have had it a much easier time here. All right, now he's ticked off, which is fine with me. Use my last Beast Rush. I got one more Jecht Slash. I'm going to blast this guy as hard as I can. So it's like, oh, great, I got 2% left. Thankfully, the EX came up where I was about to HP plus that son of a gun. And then I was like, hey, let's put Gabranth back on. Because right now, I will admit, I'm just trying to scream any kind of damage I could with that. So I went faded Moly to make that thing have one more turn where it didn't... have a chance because I couldn't jump in front of it again. Thankfully, the black hole did it. So like I said, this was a comedy of errors. So like I said, if you learned something or if you learned how not to do something, because there's a whole lot of how not to do something here, please consider liking and subscribing. I would appreciate it. And if you wouldn't mind, please consider commenting. I would enjoy any constructive feedback about my videos. Like I said, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully gives you some confidence. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.